Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Pompberry, and today I'll be turning myself into a painting yet again. In last week's video, I did pretty much the same thing, and today I'm going to keep it up with the art recreation, honestly, because I've got a bit of an artistic block right now. I'm finding it really hard to come up with looks of my own, and so I was like, you know what? Let's just stick to art recreations because they're fun. I don't have to think too much about the creation process. The design is already done for me. So that's where I'm at in my quarantine. I want to continue creating, but I'm having a super intense artist block trying to come up with designs. And today I'm going to be turning myself into this painting by Elena Rosato. She goes by Rocks Arts on Instagram. I'm going to leave the link to her work down below. She's an Italian painter that has a very distinct and very bold and graphic style. Today I'm actually doing one of her more muted paintings. This one only uses 2 colors. In her other works, she uses a lot of colors. Her works are quite bold and very beautiful, but this one in particular was calling out to me, and so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm just going to jump straight into it, but before I begin, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. First, I'm going to be doing a completely white base using the Mehron Clown White Light. It is very important that it is the light version. I hate the regular Clown White. If you are here for Halloween, you already know this about me, and I'm just going in with a damp beauty blender and just going to apply a white base. If you want a really in-depth explanation on how to get a perfectly white base, I recommend watching my Death video. Death is a character from the comic book Sandman, and she has really pale skin, and in that video, I go super in-depth into how to achieve a super even white base. So I'm not going to get into it too much today, but as you can see, I'm just dabbing along with my beauty blender, much like you would with regular foundation. Then once I'm done with that, I'm going to set it with powder because this is a cream product that does not set itself. So I'm going to go in with the RCMA powder that I put into this Anasoi powder puff holder, and I'm going to go heavy with the powder. You want to make sure there's no creasing on the eyelids before you set them. And the white base for this doesn't have to be perfectly white. Because it is a painting, I do want to get those brush-like stroke effects. So the white doesn't have to be too perfect for this. And while I let that set, I'm going to paint my neck and my ears with a different kind of product. I'm going to be using a water activated face paint. This one is by Wolf. And the main reason I'm using this product instead is because, one, it's a lot faster to use. 2, getting cream out of my ears would be a nightmare. This stuff just comes off with water. But the reason I didn't use this on my face is because it's a lot harder to get it even. So I'm just using it in the areas that don't matter as much. And also I'm able to get in there into my ear, and I wouldn't be able to do that with a beauty blender. Then just going to do that all over my neck. Just a very light layer. Just working that in until it's fully dry. Now that that's done, I'm going to dust off the excess powder. I don't want to have any powder on my face before I move on to the next step. Now I'm going to get my Wolf Paint palette, and I'm going to be using the blue in here. It's not an exact match to the blue in the painting, but it's what I have. So that's what I'm working with today. And I'm going to dilute this more than I would normally. I'm going to add a lot more water into it than I would normally because I don't want it super opaque. I just want washes of color. So I'm going to start testing it out up here. So you can see it's almost like a watercolor effect. I just want the lightest bit of color on my brush. And really, I'm going to play with it as if I were painting with watercolors. Oh wow, that's really not the right color at all. But I feel like if I used this blue, it wouldn't be the right color either. Maybe I can mix them? Let's see what that would do. Ooh, see, that's too much water. But I feel like for a look like this, it doesn't matter too much. I really just want to play. Okay, those two mixed together kind of work. I feel like using too much water can be detrimental too. Like I just opened a little gap in here. So being careful with that. Just gonna go ahead and start shading. Mixing the two blues actually works pretty well. So I'm gonna stick to that. And I'm just gonna be kind of free with how I do this shading. I really want the brush strokes to come out and be really visible. So first I'm doing kind of the more establishing shading. But it was funny in my last video, I was like, oh, no one's gonna recreate this. I don't know why I bothered to explain what I'm doing. And then a ton of people commented saying that they were going to recreate it and they liked that I was explaining what I was doing. So just goes to show you never know what people are gonna recreate. Like I thought these sorts of looks people were just watching like just cuz. And I got some pure water to dip into so that I can dilute it where I feel like it needs it a little bit. And if I had done the white water activated face paint underneath, it would be reacting to this paint right now and it would be mixing in with the blue, and I don't necessarily want that. I just want the blue to kind of sit on top and just have that sort of transparent effect. Like it looks like watercolor painting. I don't think I've actually ever done a watercolor recreation before. Have I? I don't know. Which is weird because I prefer painting with watercolors. Like that's the medium that I use when I do paint. I recently started using oils. My friend Jimena, you might know her here on YouTube. She goes by Jimena Reno. She taught me kind of like the basics of oil painting. She's an amazing oil painter. And I got myself some oil paints and I started doing that. But I haven't painted in a minute. I've got a canvas that I started that's just chilling here in my bedroom that I need to get back to it. But yeah, oil painting is fun, but it's very different from watercolor painting. It's a little intimidating. I'm seeing now that I need a little bit more of the blue mixed in, so I'm just fixing up the color a little bit. And also this is a painting of a boy, so I will be drawing in like the Adam's apple and stuff. So I will be kind of gender bending for this, which I am all for. Kind of just going in intensifying where I think needs intensifying and softening it up with some water. Here, because there's such a huge gap that I created, I'm just going back in and just dabbing a little bit more of the white. I might actually go in with the white water activated face paint, see if that helps at all. Powder that. Let me see, I'm gonna add a little bit of the white water activated face paint. I mean, this is all about layering, so there's no right or wrong way to do this. And also I'm just experimenting. Like I don't think I've ever done this sort of watercolor effect before, so this is just about having fun and trying things out and trying new techniques. And if it doesn't work out, then you can just wash it off because it's makeup and try again. That's what I tell everyone. The thing about makeup is you gotta practice and you gotta try new things, and if it doesn't work out, it's not a big deal. It's just makeup. So I'm gonna keep accentuating some areas here and there. To prevent creating gaps in your base, just use a very, very light touch. Just try to be as light-handed as you possibly can. And that's what I'm doing. It seems to be working out for the rest. I'm not quite sure why this area lifted, but I don't know, sometimes makeup just reacts a little weird and you gotta go with the flow. And I'm going back in with the white water activated one to correct certain areas. And I'm finding that this is working pretty well. And then the nose has a very specific kind of shading. I'm gonna wait to do the Cupid's bow once I've done the mouth. Because his top lip is so much bigger than mine, I'm going to really have to overdraw and basically create a new Cupid's bow, just how I did it with last week's video. So I'm gonna wait to do that till after I've done the actual lips. Also, don't forget to do your ears. His ears are definitely shaded in with blue, so just more of the same. But here I'm going to have to use less water, otherwise it's going to remove the white because the white is water activated. And the neck too, obviously. Can't forget about that. Really accentuating this drop shadow here. You want to create artificial shadows on yourself, and that's what's really going to make it look like a painting, is when you create fake light sources and therefore fake shadows. Then I'm going to take a teeny tiny liner paintbrush, and I'm not going to dip my finger into the paint. And I'm gonna create the eyebrow hairs. So I'm gonna start just drawing them in. I also have to coat my own eyebrow hairs in this mixture. So I might just take that first brush and go against the brow hairs. I really want to coat them all the way to the roots. Just comb it out with a spoolie. And I can start drawing in all the extra little hairs. His brows are quite fluffy and he's got a bit of a unibrow situation going on. So I'm gonna just draw the little hairs. Draw hairs up here as well. I'm probably gonna have to go in with some white into my brow to create some space in between my actual brow hairs. His brows aren't like completely filled in. He's got like some sparse areas, so I want to be able to mimic that too. His unibrow is kind of like off center. It doesn't meet exactly in the middle. So I think this is the eyebrows pretty much kind of done for this step anyway. So now that this part of the brows are done, I'm going to wait for them to dry a little bit and then I'm going to go in with some of the white face paint to break them apart. I'm just taking another liner brush and making sure that the consistency isn't too watery. I do want to get that pigment on there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some white lines just to kind of break them apart a little bit. I'm mostly going over my own eyebrows to get rid of the hairs that are already there. And also to fix up any edges around the unibrow. Now for all the red parts, I'm actually going to go in with a red liquid lipstick and I'm going to be using it on all the red areas. Hopefully this works. Hopefully I can share it out. This is the Sugar Pill Nurse liquid lipstick. I'm going to see if I can share it out to get the light washes of color. Let me zoom you guys in so you can see the details better for this. Okay, so I'm going to try this starting at my lips and seeing if I can sheer it out. Ooh, this looks really, really cool toned. And the red that she used is a lot more warm toned. So let's see. Let's see what else I've got. Thought about going in with Cleo from Ink of Elation. This is actually an orange, like a very reddish orange. It's this color right here. Let's see how that looks. I might mix some colors together for this, like how I did with the blue. Yeah, because this I think is going to read as just orange. So let me mix Maraschino and Cleo from Ink of Elation. Maraschino is very similar to Nurse from Sugar Pill. It's a cool toned red, but I'm just mixing these two because they have the same formula. And with that, we should get a warm toned red. Okay, I think that works a lot better. Might have to mix in some more orange in here. I really have to take the excess off of my brush though to get the kind of lighter washes of color in certain areas, like around the edges. I'm going in first with just very kind of light washes and then build it up. Definitely need some more of the orange to warm it up a little bit more. I feel like I should have a color that's what I'm looking for in my collection, but I don't know if I do. I feel like this isn't bright enough. It needs to be like really, really bright. I don't know if I should mix Coral Crush in from Dose of Colors. It's like a super, super bright coral, but I think that might actually do the trick. Let's see how that looks. Oh, this might actually be the color I've been looking for, even though it's a little bit pink. But I think if I mix this with the orange, then it'll be perfect. So I'm just gonna mix in a drop of Cleo. And now I think I'll have the perfect bright red. Yeah, there we go. That's the color I want. And I'm trying to get like the effect of brush strokes here on the lips as well. So you can see I've applied it softer in some areas, stronger in others. I will actually go in with the red, the pure red, to kind of darken certain spots. To create the watercolory effect, I'm actually mixing some alcohol into the lipsticks to kind of make them almost like the water activated paints. And just be careful with using alcohol around your mouth. You can see here that the alcohol kind of waters it down and allows me to use it as I was using the face paints before. So I just want that for like the edges to get that watercolor effect on them. I'm also going to use that here around the eyes. Now you really want to be careful if you have alcohol on your brush. It's pretty much evaporated at this point from my brush, so I'm going in and not worrying too much, but be careful. And this is something that I'm used to doing because I work with alcohol activated paints for special effects and stuff. So I'm used to knowing when there's alcohol on my brush or when there isn't, and it's safe to go around the eyes. So just be careful if you are going to replicate this. Don't necessarily recommend doing that if you're a beginner. You can just stick to face paints if you're going to do this. You don't have to use lipstick necessarily. I just don't really like the consistency of the red face paint that I have, so I didn't want to use it, but feel free to stick to face paints if that's what you have, or just to be safe. And this is looking very cool toned around the eyes, so I'm just going back with some of the orange. And also make sure you're using eye safe products. I did not check if this product was eye safe, so do what I say, not what I do, okay? But I know a ton of people use liquid lipsticks as like eyeliner and whatnot, but always make sure that the products you're using are safe for around the eyes and so on and so forth. So I'm just kind of emulating what I'm seeing on the drawing. Then I'm also going to use the red to create the Adam's apple. So I'm going to smudge it around. Let me lower this camera. I'm going to smudge it with my finger first. And I probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing that because it makes the sound come out weird. So I'm just going to smudge it first to give that kind of watercolory effect. I'm still not super happy with the lips. I might change their shape up a little bit. And then just intensifying that shading. Now I've changed the lip shape a little bit. I'm gonna take my white water activated face paint on that tiny little liner brush again, and I'm gonna do some detailing around the mouth. I'm gonna start by creating this little highlight over here, and then doing little highlights on the bottom lip and lightening up this area here, just kind of fixing up some of this red. And now I can really go in and perfect the Cupid's bow area. So I'm going to really shade this right here and shade around the nostrils as well. I'm actually going to paint in... Oh no, that went in too far. That's what she said. I'm gonna go just like around the nostril. Oh, that tickles. Not good. Don't recommend it. But I just want to get that area kind of darkened up right there. That's it. And then, what else? I guess I can use this to perfect some areas here and there. Oh, and I also have to trace a line around my face. I want to make sure that I do it in a way that it's visible, because if I do it on the actual edge of my face, you won't see that line. So I'm doing it kind of above, but the best thing is to make this line sort of thick so that you make sure that you can see it kind of from different angles. And then I'm really gonna square out my chin because it's quite squared. See, and that just adds another little detail that will make it look even more like a painting on your face. One thing I forgot to do is just darken above my own Cupid's bow right here. And that really helps add to the illusion of the lips by darkening that outer edge. Ooh. I haven't been looking at the monitor much, but it looks pretty cool. It's reading really well on camera. That's cool. I might also darken in here. Okay, so now I think it's time to do my favorite part of this painting, and it's the little flowers on the face. And then we'll be almost done. I'll just have to do the waterline and the lashes and stuff. I'm taking my little teeny tiny liner brush. I'll start with this little guy over here, and for this I am going to try to be as like precise as I possibly can, trying to find points that I can scale it to my face. So like I know that this little petal is right below the nostril, so that way I can kind of scale things and make it look right on my face. And then like there's going to be a little circle right under where this red thing ends. Oh, and that's a little too big, but that's okay. And then 3 little lines under it. And there you go. That's like the first part started. There's other like little lines and stuff here. But it's always important to scale things to your face. Try to find a point of reference on what you're referencing and then on your face. So it's like I knew that this was going to line up with the end of this red part. So that's why I started here, and then I can work my way towards the end of the little drawing. Then there's going to be petals here, or leaves, or whatever. Always make sure your brush is properly loaded with paint, and getting the consistency right here is super important. You want it to be liquid enough that you can draw lines with it, but not so liquid that it would run on your face. The most important thing about working with face paint is getting the consistency right, and that just takes practice. So if you want to get into face painting, I recommend just working with the paint and seeing like how much water creates what texture, and that's really what you have to get used to, and then you have to worry about like actually painting with it, because unlike other products, you create the consistency yourself. So you adjust that consistency depending on what you want to do. So it's not like a cream product that comes ready to use out of the bottle or whatever. This, you have to activate it. You have to create the right consistency. This is so pretty. Ah, I want little flowers on my face. Oh, and I guess for the second week in a row, I'm recreating a painting that involves flowers on the face. I hadn't even realized that before, but I like flowers and plants. And my husband, actually, he always says that I have too much plants, even though he's the one that takes care of them because I kill all of them. So he ends up taking care of them. And then the other day, out of nowhere, he was just at home laying in bed, and then he's like, oh yeah, I bought a planter, by the way. And I'm like, what? Why? And he's like, so we can have a hanging plant. And I'm like, I've literally always wanted one. And he never lets me get more plants. And now all of a sudden he wants more plants. So I'm not going to complain, but I just thought it was funny. But yeah, I honestly actually want to take a gardening class because I don't want to kill plants anymore. And I've just killed so many. And that is the little design on the cheeks done. So that's it for this side. It's going to be pretty much the same thing on the other side. And then once I've done that, I'll come back to do the little design around the mouth. And now around the mouth, it's really simple. It's just a little dot with 3 little lines. Then I also really want to darken under the bottom lip. Now for my waterline and around the eye, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that white water activated face paint and I'm going to go real close to my lashes and just draw a white line there. And his waterline is white, but his eyes are red and there's no way for me to paint my eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like fake this white waterline by doing it on the outside. And then I'm going to fill my actual waterline with red. Let me use this white to do some little details that I didn't do previously. Like the inner corner, that definitely needs to be brightened up on both sides. Oh, that tickles. Ah, so bad. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it. I'm also going to highlight my lid, but I don't want it to be stark white. I want it to be red still, but just a little bit lighter. Then I'm going to take the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the color Lava and So On, and I'm going to line my waterline with that. I'm going to warm it up on the back of my hand first. And then go in and really get that waterline real red. And I'm going to use this to kind of soften the white a little bit because it is a little stark and his isn't that stark. So I'm just going over it a little bit to soften it up in some areas. And then same thing on this eye. And I do want to get some red on my lashes, so I'm going to go in with the lipstick combo just because it's got a thick consistency, kind of like mascara. I'm taking it on a little fan brush and just working that onto my lashes because they're a little bit white because of the face paint. So I just want to get rid of that white, make sure it's not there. That's pretty much all I'm gonna do to my lashes. Now, as a last little detail, I'm gonna paint in the hair. So I slicked my hair back and I'm going to be painting the sides with face paint. But I also want to paint in the hair that he's got going on the forehead. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. And I'm doing this just because I wanted everything to like match. I wanted all the blues to match. I thought about wearing a wig, but I don't really have a wig that would go with it. I have like a teal wig, but it's also a long wig. And I thought that by doing it this way, I could just be more faithful to the painting, you know? So just painting some little hairs in, and I'm gonna crop my picture anyway to how the painting is cropped, so you're not really gonna see my hairline. It'll look good, I promise. I'm also gonna paint in the hairs on the side of the head and that hairline. Okay, now that I've done the little hairs on my hairline, I'm gonna take the face paint on a big brush, and I'm gonna go in with a light one first because since my hair is dark, I think it'll darken it up enough. And I'm just gonna go ahead, mix it in with the blue a little bit just to get that tone right. Oh my god, I haven't painted my hair in ages, but I have to wash my hair today anyway, so I figured why not? And face paint washes off really easy, so you don't really have to worry about it. I did get some here that I shouldn't have on my forehead, so I might just grab some of that white again and just make those gaps back. Now I'm just further intensifying some shadows here and there if I think they need intensifying, like I did right here on my chin. Just adding final details, but this is pretty much it. Okay, yeah, I think I'm done. Ooh, nope, I forgot one thing. Forgot little teeny tiny white highlight right here on the upper lip. There we go. And a little highlight here. Oh, there's some, every time I think I'm finished, I see something. This needs a little bit of red. I mean, honestly, these types of looks, I could just keep on going forever and ever and ever. But this is it. This is it. Okay, now I think this is it. I'm actually really happy with this look. It was a lot of fun to do, just kind of painting with a watercolor style on my face. I don't think I've ever diluted my paint that much so that it felt as if I was painting with watercolors. And that felt really good because, as I said, I am a watercolor painter. So I don't know, it makes me kind of want to try more of these, do more watercolor style stuff onto my face. But yeah, I am pretty happy with this. Although every time I look at the reference, I see something that could be changed, could be modified. But am I gonna do it? There's like here could be a little darker. I swear I'm gonna stop messing with it. I swear, I promise I'm gonna stop messing with it. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I was actually thinking about doing one or two other recreations of paintings from this same artist. I really like her stuff, and I think that it can translate beautifully into makeup. So yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Ooh, I just really like the contrast of colors too. Like that to me is what's really striking, and then when you get into it, there's like the little details of the flower. So it's just a piece that I really like. I'm glad that I turned myself into it. So I hope you enjoyed this. If there's another artist that you would like to see me recreate their work, please let me know who down below in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all my patrons for supporting me, and I will see you next time. Bye!